Hey there, it's Susanne here. And today I want to talk about something that I think a lot of yoga teachers are feeling, but not quite naming yet. If you've been building your online yoga business for a few years, chances are you followed all the advice that was normal, like in 2020 or 2021, create an online course, build your email list, do a launch. And that advice, it wasn't wrong, it was working. People were building real businesses that way. My students too, I did. And a lot of the foundation from that era are still really solid. But something has shifted. I think especially this year in 2026. And I talk to yoga teachers all the time who are doing everything they were told to do, and it's just not producing the same results anymore. The launches feel harder. The online course that sold well 2 years ago barely moves now. The freebie is growing the email list, but nothing is converting. The membership isn't growing. And the quiet conclusion most people draw is that they must be doing something wrong, or that online business just doesn't work anymore for yoga teachers, or that they're somehow behind everybody else. And I don't think any of that is true. I think the landscape has genuinely changed, and most of the advice people are still following hasn't caught up with that yet. So today, I want to talk about what's actually different now, why the old model is creating so much frustration, and what a business built for 2026 and beyond actually looks like. Because the fix is not working harder or doing more, it's building a different kind of system entirely. So let me paint you a picture because I think it might sound familiar. You created a freebie at some point, probably a PDF or a yoga video, something that felt genuinely useful when you made it, and it probably is. You put it on your website, you mentioned it a few times, a few people downloaded it, which felt great, and then not much happened after that. The people who downloaded it went quiet. Some of them are still on your email list, but they don't really engage. And the freebie just lives on your website doing very little or nothing at all, really. And then you have your offer. Maybe it's a membership you launched in the pandemic with a lot of energy and you got your founding members, but it's been roughly the same number of people for a really long time. Or maybe it's an online course or a program that you put yourself into. You sold it once during a big launch, like what you've learned, and then it's just kind of sits there and you know it's good, right? You got great feedback, you believe in it, but figuring out how to sell it, especially outside of a launch, that feels exhausting. And then there's your content. I see so many yoga teachers, they post and they say their goal is growing their Instagram. But that goal by itself, it's empty. It's like followers, it's like having monopoly money. You want your content to do something for you. You want that to help you grow your business. So I don't want you to post just because you think you're supposed to, or just wait for inspiration. And you know your posts are sometimes really good, but the content isn't really leading anywhere. And yes, people enjoy it and they save it and they like it and sometimes they comment, but it doesn't seem to translate into actual sales or inquiries. So you keep doing all the things, the freebie, you have offers, you show up on social media because you know they are part of having an online business. That's what you learned. But separately, none of them are creating momentum. That's the disconnected pieces problem. And it's not a hustle problem, it's a design problem. And here's the thing I also want to say, because I think it's important context for 2026 specifically. Even if your pieces were connected a few years ago, the rules have shifted. What worked in 2022 is genuinely not enough anymore. And I think a lot of yoga teachers are quietly blaming themselves for results that are actually just a symptom of a changed landscape. For example, in 2021, the advice was create an online course, do a big launch, sell it. And that worked. People were used to buying courses. They click on a webinar, they warm up over a few emails and buy a $500 or $1,000 program from someone they'd known for about a week. The online education market was still new enough that people were excited to be part of it. I know because that's how I built my business. It worked really, really well. But yeah, the sad truth is that era is over. We are in what I call a trust recession right now. People have bought other courses and they never finished. They've signed up for programs that didn't deliver what was promised. They've been through enough disappointing online programs that they're much more cautious about where they put their money, especially with someone they don't really know. They've just met you online, they just discovered you. So the default today in these days is skepticism and not excitement. And a freebie straight to $1,000 course is asking someone to make a big leap of faith over a gap that's gotten much wider. This doesn't mean that people aren't buying or that they're not paying $1,000 or more for programs. They absolutely are. It just means the path to yes, to the purchasing decision has changed. People need more touch points. That's what I see happening everywhere. They need more evidence that you are the real thing, more chances to experience your work before they are ready to invest at a higher level. And that's exactly why the connected systems matter so much more now than they did 4 years ago. So here's the way I think about it. Imagine someone discovers you on Instagram today. They find a post they love, something that really resonates, and they follow you. Great. Now what? They scroll through your feed for a bit, they see some content they like, maybe they watch a reel, and then they move on with their day. A few days later, they see another post. They remember you. Still good, right? But they don't really know what you do or how to work with you, so they just keep watching. And at some point, if they stick around long enough, they might click the link in your bio, they find your website, and maybe they'll find the freebie they can download, and then they get an automated email with a PDF, maybe one or two follow-up emails if you are already ahead, and then silence or the occasional newsletter that isn't really connected to anything you're trying to sell. And in the meanwhile, your offer, the one that could genuinely help them, exists somewhere on your website, but there's no logical path that takes someone from finding you on Instagram to ending up there. The dots aren't connected. And most people are not going to connect them themselves because they're busy and they're not thinking about your business the way you are. This is why so many yoga teachers feel like they're doing everything right, but still not getting traction. The individual pieces are fine. Your work is great and you're probably able to get people amazing results. The problem is the system doesn't exist. And I want to be clear that this isn't a complicated problem to fix. It just requires a shift in how you think about your business from a collection of separate things to a single connected flow. So, what does that look like? It starts with being really intentional about how each piece relates to the next one. So, your content, your freebie, your entry point offer, your main offer, each one should have a clear purpose and should naturally lead to the next step in the relationship. So let me walk you through what I mean. Your content is the first point of contact. It's how people find you, how they start to trust you, how they come to understand what you're about. But content on its own doesn't build a business. Content is supposed to lead somewhere, specifically to your freebie. So instead of creating posts that are just generally inspiring or educational, every piece of content you make should have a clear invitation to take the next step. And that next step is almost always your freebie. Your freebie is not just a nice thing you give away to grow your email list, though it does that too. Its real job is to solve one very specific problem and to do that in a way that naturally makes someone curious about your paid offer. So the freebie should feel like the first chapter of something, and it's not a standalone thing. If someone downloads your freebie, gets value from it, and it feels like there's more they want to explore, that's a freebie that's doing its job. If they download it, think, oh, that was nice. I'm happy to do those 5 trainings now every day and continue with that. And then they never think about you again or they never move to the next step. That means the freebie isn't really working. It's disconnected from your main paid offers. So after the freebie comes what I think of as the easy yes. And in 2026, this is the piece I see making the biggest difference between yoga teachers who are getting consistent sales and those who aren't. An easy yes offer is something in the 37, maybe even 27 to $97 range. So it's low ticket. It solves one real specific problem and it's short enough that someone can actually complete it and see a result and feel it, not a massive course they dip into and never finish. And it's priced at the point where the decision to purchase is low stakes enough that someone who has only just gotten to know you can say yes without much hesitation. This is the bridge that the trust recession has made essential because the person who downloads your freebie is not ready to spend $500 or $1,000 with you yet. They don't know you well enough, but they might be ready to spend $47. And if they do, and they get a result, everything changes. They've now experienced your teaching. They know how you explain things, how you structure information, whether your style resonates with them. And when you invite them into your main offer from that place, the conversion is so much easier because they're not making a leap of faith. They are making a logical next step. And then your main offer, whether that's a course or a premium membership or a coaching package, whatever the core transformation is that you help people through, gets to land in a completely different way because the person arriving there has already found you through your content, already gotten value from your freebie, already experienced a real win from your easy yes offer, and they know you and now they trust you. They start to build trust. They've had results working with you. And that decision to go deeper is a much easier one. That is the connected system, not four separate things. One flow that takes someone from first discovering you all the way through to your most transformational work. And it's the system that actually fits the way people buy in 2026. Now I want to talk about the part of this system that most yoga teachers skip, and it's the one that really makes everything else work, and it's the sales momentum piece. You can have a beautiful connected system, a great freebie, a brilliant entry point offer, and still find that your income is inconsistent. Because if you set it all up and then wait for people to find their way through it on their own, the flow isn't really flowing. It still needs you. What I mean by sales momentum is having a plan for how you actively invite people into your offers on a regular basis, not with fake urgency, but just consistently. So you can do a flash sale, or you can do a challenge or a seasonal promotion. So you plan this ahead, and that's when you put the offer in front of people again. So let's say someone goes through your funnel. So they sign up for your freebie, they get invited into your easy yes offer, and they don't buy. Let's face it, the majority is not going to buy. So unless you put that offer in front of them again, they're probably not going to see it again. So that's why I want to do a flash sale. It's just a few very strategic emails. It's very easy. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to do like a really big live launch every 4 weeks because who wants to do that, right? So you plan your bus campaigns, that's what I call them, in advance, have them in your calendar, and that's how you create sales momentum. And that means you're never starting from scratch. You have a calendar of how you're going to invite people into your world over the next few months, and you execute it one step at a time. It takes the scramble out of it completely. So that's the whole system. It's what I call the honey flow. So you have your freebie, you have your offer, you have your content engine, and you have your bus campaigns to create sales momentum. And when you have that in place, you are ready to scale it up. So you can use paid ads, you can launch a more premium offer, you can do bigger campaigns and collaborations. You can really build a multiple six-figure online business from that foundation, but you need to have the foundation in place. And I know that most yoga teachers that I talk to, they don't have an effort problem. It's not that they're not working hard enough or that they don't have any ideas, right? It's just like nothing is really working together. And what they're missing is having that plan, how to set everything up step by step, and how to get someone to give them feedback really and says, okay, this is working. Here on this sales page, this header, maybe try this, Nobody gets it right the first time, very rarely. So you want to improve it. You want to really work on it. It's probably going to take a little bit back and forth. I mean, you can set that up in 4 weeks. You can also take longer, but getting somebody else to look at that is really, really beneficial. So you need to build that flow, that honey flow, content that leads to a freebie, the freebie that leads to an easy yes offer, an easy yes that builds real trust towards your main offer, your more premium offers, and a sales momentum plan. So, if this episode gave you some clarity on where the gaps might be in your own business, I'd love to hear what landed for you. So, drop a comment below the video. If you're watching on YouTube, or DM me on Instagram or send me an email, would love to hear from you. And if you want to go deeper on this, I have a free training called How to Turn Your Yoga Wisdom into Consistent Online Income, where I walk you through the whole honey flow method, the exact system yoga teachers are using to add $1,000 or more to their monthly revenue with one small digital offer without needing a big audience or pushy tactic. You can sign up at susannereichel.com/training, and I put the link in the show notes as well. And that's it for today. Get in touch. Let me know how this episode resonated with you if you have any questions. And I talk to you soon. Bye for now.